Okay, so here are my afterthoughts in regard to the movie Contact, which we saw a few days ago, which I have to say I really liked. It was an awesome movie, probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. And just the opening shot alone, I mean, floating through the universe and passing the galaxies and the stars and then coming out of the girl's eye, that was just genius. But I usually don't talk about those things, you know, cinematography or production design or even soundtrack, even though that's very important and I understand it. I mean, I'm a filmmaker myself and I could probably talk an hour about that stuff. But what really interests me in a movie is the message and the story, because story is king. I know there's movies that are just being made for pure entertaining, and that's great, you know. I mean, if a movie entertains me, that's already good. But there's a lot of movies that aim to entertain that I'm just bored. I mean, all those silly action movies and stuff, it has its place, yes, but it's just not what I'm drawn to. I'm drawn to story and purpose, and Contact definitely had it all. I mean, the core theme of this movie, it was just genius how they showed one side being Dr. Arroway, Jodie Foster's character, the scientist, you know, and the scientist, she needs proof in order to believe anything. And then we have the opposite character, Palmer, played by Matthew McConaughey, and he is a believer. He believes in God, and of course those two mindsets don't seem to go together. And it was very interesting how they played those different perspectives against each other, and it was genius how they towards the end then managed to turn everything around, and suddenly you had the scientist claim something that she experienced but she couldn't really explain and she didn't have proof. And then on the other side you had the believers asking, well, do you expect us to believe all that on faith alone? Well, there we go, you know, now you see both sides. And it was very interesting how that movie made a very strong point that the scientific point of view and the believer's point of view, they are not mutually exclusive, they can coexist. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Christians actually invented science to begin with, but if I'm not mistaken, but it doesn't really matter, because you can still, in the end, you can believe whatever you want to, no problem. But I think the message of the movie was very strong and definitely resonated with me. And I think Dr. Arroway, as a Jodie Foster, also realized in the end that maybe believing in a creator or believing in a higher power is not that crazy, because even in real life, you know, you can do your own research, but there are plenty of scientists, for example, who set out to disprove God, you know, and then they started doing research into the metaphysical and into history and the Bible and all the scriptures and other people's experiences and near-death experiences, all that stuff. And the more they did research, the more they realized that it makes a lot more sense that there actually is a creator compared to, you know, everything just happened and came together by chance. I mean, a scientist really digs into the numbers and then realizes that the chances that everything just somehow came together is many trillions to one. That makes you think, you know, especially with that body of evidence that we have. But like I said, I don't want to preach to anybody, and I didn't really feel the movie was preaching either. It just told a story. You can think whatever you want to, but I thought the story was just exceptional. And I also liked that little twist at the end that they threw in. You think the movie is finished, then they talk about the recordings that Jodie Foster's character, Dr. Arroway, had with her during the trip, and then it was revealed that this recording device actually recorded approximately 18 hours. And it was interesting to see that the government employer actually knew about it and said, yeah, that is very interesting, isn't it? And that just shows you another little angle of society or humanity that in my eyes, it was clearly pointed out that the government knows a lot more about all that stuff than they want us to know. I mean, I came to that conclusion decades ago, but still, it was nicely slipped in. And if I would be the government, I would keep those secrets for myself too, especially if I aim to kind of control society. You don't want to reveal all those secrets, you know. So, very interesting movie. It made me think a lot, and the more I think about it, the more I like it. So I can, of course, highly recommend watching the entire movie. But I think we did a pretty good job with this shorter YouTube version. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy those afterthoughts, and I see you at the next one. Bye bye.